We're standing in the cabinet. This is our attempt to reconstruct the cabinet of Edvard Ravnikar. It's a specific room originally that took place in the Faculty of Architecture or the School of Architecture at that point, a hub of Ravnikar activity from 1946 to 1980, and after that an occasional space for lectures and for intellectual process that was always part of Ravnikar's activities. This is not a philological reconstruction. It is an attempt to bring together all the layers of the creative life of Edvard Ravnikar and includes the classical subjects of architecture exhibition, which is the drawings and the sketches of the creative process, but also other layers that were extremely important to Ravnikar's outlook on architecture. This is a graphic design, industrial design, his library, urbanism, books, his personal belongings, his tools for sketching. All of these create a sort of archaeological layering with which we try to explain the basic change that Ravnikar brought to Slovene cultural space in understanding what the role of architect is. Ravnikar's teacher, a very famous architect, Jože Plečnik, understood the role of the architect completely differently, more archaically, we could say, as a creator who mediates between the art and the world, or even in Plečnik's case, between God and the world. So when the architect was creating, he would not share his process with the wider world. Ravnikar, on the other hand, changed this radically. For him, the architecture process was a transparent process of doubt, a very creative doubt with which he tried to overcome some of the basic elements or frustrations of architect in his creative process. In this exhibition, we try to avoid the classic approach of first explaining the life of the architect. We did this by including elements, drawings, books, quotations from Ravnikar's private diaries to explain the formative points of Ravnikar's life. We include in this his drawings for Jože Plečnik when National University Library was being built in Ljubljana, an extremely important national project and also an extremely formative experience for Ravnikar. We include in this his time in Le Corbusier's studio in Paris in 1939, at least as important for his professional development, and of course many projects throughout his life about which he also wrote in his diaries, explained the process of creation, talked about his contemporaries, and explained his thoughts and changes and progress while designing these projects. The role of architecture to change people's lives was extremely important in Ravnikar's vision of architecture, and he included in this not only building buildings and cities, but also designing books, graphic design, designing furniture, industrial design, and with his great knowledge of art history and contemporary painting, he started to develop his specific approach to creating new modernist, but specifically Slovene architecture.